Hey everyone, Chris Inman with I.D.E.A. Cleveland.
Brian Butkowski with Bomb Image.
And we're here to bring you some bomb ideas. And today's bomb idea we want to talk about is defining a target audience. So we have conversation with our clients, and a lot of people have a hard time saying, hey, you got to niche down. And they go, no, I want to be all things to all people, and I understand that because you don't want to turn away work.
Right.
But in your branding and your marketing, you need to solve someone's problem, and that someone has to be a particular person in a way, a particular audience.
Absolutely.
So I'm sure you have this conversation, right?
Absolutely.
So how do you adjust people's mindset there?
Well, I'd say the number one thing is it's maybe easy to be all things to all people when you are a giant brand like McDonald's or something, and you're spending millions, if not billions, on advertising. That makes it a little easier. But when you're not, and specifically when you want to have that right client, that your message is going to resonate with them, you have to make sure that you nail that down in one particular way. Again, it's not to say you can only have one client. Maybe, especially even in the B2B space, maybe you have an A, B, and C type client. But you want to specifically advertise, market, and brand yourself to fit each A, B, or C client so that they know that your message is for them. And then also, in the same respect, if your message is for A, B knows it's not for them. And it can make an easier, better transition when you're actually trying to do business. I think that's the biggest thing. It's hard to make sure that you're everything to everybody. Now, to your point, you don't have to turn away work. People will still naturally come to you, and one of the things that I will tell clients, and we've had discussions about this too, is you become more exclusive. Hey, yeah, I'm this for this type of client. Okay, well, can you work with me? I'd like to work with you. I love your work. Okay, let's talk about that. Let's see how that could work. Mm-hmm. So those are some of the things that I talk about when I work with clients or potential clients on, hey, who is your audience? So do you have conversations like this too? Is there a way that you kind of wrap things around?
Yeah, and I think also when you think about this, it also defines, like when your target audience, their income and what they have to spend on you.
Oh, absolutely.
So if you try to sell to everybody, like McDonald's, they're not advertising in Beverly Hills. Those people don't really go to McDonald's. The high rich don't go to McDonald's.
Sure.
But you go downtown Cleveland, they got billboards everywhere.
Sure.
So they do kind of niche in the sense of where
they're smart. They're smart.
They know what they're doing.
They're the closest that I could think of everything to everybody.
But I'm saying that's everything to everybody, but yet it isn't everything to everybody.
Exactly.
And there's an example of like how their ideal clients are a little bit different.
There's no doubt.
Yeah. So I think it really gets down to price. So then it eliminates who can afford you type of thing. Also, who needs you?
Exactly.
Both of us will not be working for the Cleveland Clinic anytime soon. We will not be providing services to them. They are so big, so monstrous, they have so many people internally.
Right.
So for us to have marketing materials that speak to the needs of large corporations with internal marketing teams is ridiculous.
Yeah, or if there was one specific spot in there that maybe that would work, to the whole point of what we're talking about, this is how we could help you in this one little spot. Mm-hmm. You have teams of people that can do a lot of the things that we could do, but for this particular spot you could. But yeah, absolutely, I think that's right on the mark, and that's really the two ends of the spectrum.
Yes.
Because yes, again, I know that McDonald's or any of those larger corporations aren't everything, but it's the closest thing I can think of. Yeah. And obviously the flip side is, I doubt we'd ever work for these giant conglomerate corporations, or even McDonald's for that matter, but maybe there's one little way we could.
Yes.
So you could always pinpoint that and see if it works.
If you found that one way,
Correct.
That you became the expert and the number one source for that particular service or product, and yes.
And they couldn't serve it in-house.
Yeah.
They couldn't do that on their own.
Correct. Like influencers. That is where they can get into a McDonald's.
Absolutely.
Because they have a wide range and they have, that's something McDonald's would have.
They couldn't build that internally.
Yeah, exactly. So there's all these things. So when you're really trying to figure out your target audience, it's more than just, age, money, demographics and all that. There's more into it too, whereas I know that some corporations think about, like, I learned this Crumble Cookie moves into neighborhoods that already have Starbucks, Target, and Chick-fil-A.
Sure.
Because their ideal clients and customers are the same as those three organizations. And there's many examples of others doing the same thing.
Well, and I'll take it back even to a B2B kind of conversation. When you think about it, when you're trying to send your message to somebody, a lot of times you're going to do account-based marketing, and when you're actually reaching out to a company, you may want to look at C-level people, or you may want to look at an owner, but you also may want to look all the way down the chain as to who would get value out of what you're going to provide for them. Mm-hmm. Your message to the person that might be using your service is different than the one who might be purchasing the service. Yes. So there's different levels and different messaging even in that. So to your point about trying to get some blanket demographics or whatever, yeah, we could, as I try to build out playbooks and game plans for some of my clients, especially in the B2B space, hey, we're going to target these companies in this space, so maybe there's 10 of those. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then who are the individuals inside those companies that we're trying to reach, and how do we create a message that's going to hit, at this level at this company and at this level at this company? And they could all be very minute changes and differences, but the better you can communicate, the better someone's going to actually understand what you're doing.
Oh yeah, I think
and how you can help.
A great example of that would be like an IT company, an MSP. They can go after internal IT departments.
Sure.
Because they feel overwhelmed with all the things that are coming up. They got to deal with the day-to-day headaches of people's devices, and maybe they don't have time to work on the cloud, work on their network, work on things that keep the engine running, because they're dealing with the day-to-day so much, and they bring in an outside trusted source.
Sure.
So an IT company could market towards IT professionals that feel overwhelmed at work.
Absolutely.
And now they take those services to their boss, like, hey, I know that I'm here full-time and all this, but this is, if we bring these people on, this will make everything better.
Well, and I think the beautiful part of that is that, just like as I was saying, they bring it up to the bosses, whoever that is, the higher-ups. Okay, and then you can send a message to them.
Yes.
Outside of what they're doing, they can get hit in different ways. Oh yeah, well yeah, it's going to make their life better, but here's the thing, it's going to make your business more efficient, and you don't have to hire more people necessarily, or there's things that we can do to create economies of scale inside your company that you wouldn't be able to do otherwise. So the different messages are, again, what's going to move the needle, who's going to make the decision to pull a trigger.
Yeah, absolutely. So we hope you enjoyed today's bomb idea. And think about who your ideal client is and how you can kind of really pull out a pen and paper and start writing down some characteristics of your best clients and what do they all have in common. And that's really the way I would get started. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next bomb idea.